Bounce is a good one to start it, and Sandlin starts as he normally does by winning the palm down, but Miller from the opposition almost a possession. Dodd squeezed to kick away, but it wasn't 15. Whelan runs into a gang tackle, and that's what they've been doing for the last 10 minutes. Tackling practice out there will get a ball up.
I reckon Sylvia's found his niche, and I think he's found the right approach to his footy. He's been pretty good for the Demons in the last month, and if he can just build his engine, he may even slip into the middle over the next 12 months or so.
J. Martin Sandlins again go at it. Sandlins with the slap down, but again he missed the target. Davey back into the team this week after that 1 week club imposed suspension. No advantage, it'll come back.
Not sure he missed the target, Dwayne. I reckon they didn't read him properly. I mean, it was pretty clear where he was going to hit the ball. Aaron Davey knew where it was going.
Yep. And Davey gets it from Sylvia. Centering kick. Bait almost off hands. Half harassed well by Mundy in the end. Ibbotson also in good form to head. And his chip kick finds Davey. Well, it's good to have him back. Third possession already. But then again, he's fresh from a week off. Paul Wheatley coming off a career-high 34 possession game last week. So also in form to Johnson. To Wanameri. Little fumble. And short kick to Morton, who's back home in WA to have the first shot at goal. Carl Morton.
Well, it's just good work rate by Wanameri. He got out to the open side. Good switch by Davey and not go to the congested side of the 50. And now they find themselves with Morton having a shot inside 50. So good patience with using the ball inside their forward line.
Played here in the Waffle for Claremont last year. Carl Morton. And that's nice off the boot.
He's happy.
Well, he knows what they are. Melbourne get the opener.
Well, they've come with a side that can run, and it's pretty scary to see Aaron Davey being picked up by Mark Johnson. I reckon Mark's going to have to use every little bit of nous he has got to curtail the influence of the speedster.
They're going to be mindful, Fremantle. They have the worst first quarter record. They've only won 4 first quarters this year, and Melbourne are certainly going to take it right up to them. Good early signs by Melbourne moving their ball into the forward line.
And for a change, Mum and Dad, Noel and Valda, don't have to travel to see one of their 3 boys. Jared and Mitch, of course, now playing in Victoria. Carl back home. Sandlin's out of the ruck. The handball away. Ibbotson quite handle it. Whelan. Jones. Jammer brings him down. No prior opportunity, the umpire said. Slipped out to Johnson. Caught. Oh, a big tackle. Main really collapsed him. And Main fights on to try and get this. Kara type poke. And Davey takes it out of play. We'll get a ball in.
Good work there by Chris Main. He just corralled Davey to the boundary line and forced him to take the ball over.
J-Mar with the reach, Tarrant with the crumb, and Warnock. Hand off to Dodd, 50 from goal. High bomb, goal square. Demons with the numbers, and the fist wins out. Thumped across the boundary line by, we've got 2 of them out there, of course, Matthew Warnock and Robert Warnock.
Change of role for Stephen Dodd too. Looks like he's in the middle of the ground running with Cameron Bruce.
So Morton collects at fullback. Bruce hassled off it. He's able to shoot it out. Jones got it from Wheatley.
Good vision. Kick.
So Morton takes it at half back. Good start for him. Possession number 3. Good start at the moment for the Demons there.
Bruce is just blown away his opponent.
Johnson to Bruce. They're playing with confidence at the moment. He thumps it long, and now Fremantle with the numbers. Miller forces the contest. Knocked it away from Johnson. Thornton. Brown. Slick Campbell. Too slick for Shammer. Bate. Lost it. Pavlich. All the way back to half-back. Kicks it to where he'd like to be. Bruce. Can't take the mark. Dodd. Nice now vision. Brown. Held up by Morton. Open forward line, though. Yes! Lead comes. And McFarlane couldn't get there to take possession of it. And Johnson does for Melbourne. Finds Morton again. Plays on, but into trouble. Brown corrals him. And the kick to Jomar is okay. Jomar takes the mark. Just racking up the possessions at the moment. Davey, Bate. Fremantle will touch it soon.
It is good play, Dwayne, that they're maintaining possession here, Melbourne, denying Fremantle possession, so they can't get any flow into their game, and somewhat will frustrate them.
Yeah.
They want to win this first quarter and put the pressure right back on Fremantle and obviously the home natives.
Well, it's frustrating me, so I'm sure it's frustrating Fremantle at the moment. Shammer. So the turnover, and now Fremantle on the rebound. Main peels back, 2 to beat. Good fist from Bell. Dumped it across the boundary line.
He's done really well there, Main. They've just got to, their selection's got to be a little bit better there, but this is the second time he's been pitted 2-on-1 and done well. He's actually forced the ball out of bounds. That's twice he's done that, but Fremantle need to find another avenue. They've got a tall forward line.
Warnock thumped it down. 2 ruckmen against Jomar, yet he took it out of the air. Couldn't dispose of it. Jones. Wheatley. They come to the open side. Well, they might not. Main cuts it off. Good dumping tackle. Ties up Ibbotson.
Jared, there's the future of Fremantle. Young Main's been working really hard at the contest. Hasn't got a real possession yet, but him and Ibbotson forced that stoppage. Good work. That's what the example needs to be set.
Pavlich took it out of the air. It was slick. Gave to Dodd. Bruce hassled him off it. No holding the ball. He got rid of it legally. Davey short to Miller. 3 goals last week against the Western Bulldogs. Brad Miller in that loss. He's in good form. Johnson, good half forward. And Head given the free. He was held without it.
Great poise there by Josh Head. Left his direct opponent, created that contest, won himself a free kick. Good initiative he showed there.
Just chipping it around Sandal. So he played on into Newton. And gone. Newton will have the shot from 50. No talk, obviously. No one told him he was hot. He took the netball step and he was gone.
There's an empty goal square still. If he had have been smarter, he would have just lobbed it in there and backed the bounce. So you can kick the distance.
And that is a big thump. There's no one on the line for Melbourne. Can you believe that? So Grover takes the mark and relieves the pressure. Johnson. And you'll get plenty of Johnsons today. There's 4 of them out there. This is Pete. And he runs the wing with ease. No one coming at him. Has a look. Still no one comes at him. Another bounce. Still no one comes at him. Bell does now. Forces him to get rid of it. Tarrant flies. And he got the push. Chris Tarrant with the free.
The Garland's the man picking up Tarrant. I'm not sure it was him that did the infringing. Let's have a look. There it is from behind. Just looked like a car accident, full stop. Josh Carr disappointing because it was at his feet before the whistle went. He thought he'd give us snaffling a goal.
Crucial for Fremantle, Chris Tarrant. 3 goals against Geelong last week, 3 of their 6. So starting to find a bit of it, but needs to kick those. Anyone earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year that these current players are earning should kick goals from 30 metres directly out.
Well, we're speechless here.
And there's just a murmur around Subiaco. The disappointment in that. Johnson. Chris this time. Toward Miller. Almost a good half volley. Wheatley stole it from him.
If you're going to bake a cake called disaster, missing a goal like that from Chris Tarrant is one of the major ingredients. I mean, that was just a horrible start.
The flower. Valenti. Started on the bench. And Newton. What about going back to Valenti? Davies on the move inside 50. Kick wasn't a good one to him. He collects it regardless. They come at him. Back to Bruce. He's got the short. It's Wanameri. He takes the march.
Gee, Mundy had to be a lot stronger at that contest. He just waltzed and Aaron Davey just did what he liked. Picked up the ball unopposed.
Wanameri to Bate to Newton over his head.
Look out.
Wanameri can't get there in time. And I'll have to watch Austin Wanameri. He was the man. 4 goals in a heroic performance against Fremantle, where Melbourne came from 50 points down at half-time to beat Fremantle in round 7.
He's working hard, this boy.
Main. He has been one of the success stories for the Dockers this year. Pavlich, Crowley. Back to Pavlich. And Stephen Martin should get back. Cleverly read. He knew it was going long, and
He's a better player than that, Matthew Pavlich. He knew there was nothing there.
Stephen Martin's kick didn't find the target. Dodd, short. And Bartram takes the mark.
Well, they're right off at the minute, Jared. Mixed bag with everything. Chris Tarrant misses that goal. Matthew Pavlich kicks to a vacant goal square where there's a Melbourne player unaided, and they can't even hit a target at the minute.
Garland long to Sylvia. Pavlich missed the ball, attempted to spoil. Done.
48 possessions to 29 at the moment.
Well, they've owned the ball but haven't really translated that to the scoreboard. In fact, Fremantle could be in front. Had Tarrant kicked that goal, Johnson finds bait. And that was tough for Dunn, but he had the speed to gather and go and give to Newton. Not paid the mark. And does get the benefit of the doubt.
He played that very well, and he tried to convince the umpire he took the mark, but he held it up knowing that he's going to cause a ball up inside their 50.
Yeah, made out that he thought that he'd marked it. And if you believe it yourself, it's not a lie, of course. Good mark taken by Paul Johnson.
Well, it came from his direct opponent, Aaron Sandilands. That's twice they've done that in the last minute for him.
One game for the West Coast Eagles, Paul Johnson, of course. Back in 2003.
Just having it at Aaron Davey, we know he's had a bit of the footy so far, but he just looks like he is ready to explode. So could be a very exciting afternoon if Davey and Wanameri get their act together.
Chris Johnson this time on the boundary line.
And at the other end of the ground, Smithy, they've just brought Jeff Farmer on.
Oh, bait. Sorry, Smithy. It's as bad as Terrence missed down the other end. Rowan.
Yeah, Jared, he's just come onto the ground and asked for the trainer to come straight out to him. There's a little bit of grippo. So the first ball he went for, he's slipped through his fingers, so he's got some grippo on his hands now, so hopefully he can hold the ball.
Done. Morton. Slips Mundy. Main slipped that tackle, back to Morton. Jones, caught, Farmer gets involved, lays the tackle, we'll get a ball up.
Look, Fremantle try to go tall in their forward line with McFarlane, Tarrant and Main and Pavlich hovering around there, but they're missing that run from their half-back line at the minute, Fremantle, and that's where Luke McFarlane's at his best.
Pavlich all the way back to half-back to lend a hand to McManus. The talk he might retire during the week next week. No announcement before the game today. We checked that with Mark Harvey. Tarrant, centering kick. One grab and not the second for McFarlane. Caught, dragged down, got the handball up. Buckley shoots it back. Sylvia. Valenti. And 50 against Crowley. Well, he roughed them up last week. Ryan Crowley upset Gary Ablett and a few other cats. That was reasonably soft, but it's 50. There's the current rule, and the short pass finds Miller.
Well, you just got to question the discipline. That's the question. Dwayne, you said it was reasonably soft, and on TV it did look soft, but these players have had long enough to adapt to the rules. Once you infringe after a mark like that, you run the risk of causing what's happening right now with Miller having a shot on goal.
Nice off the boot from Miller. It drifts a little bit, but it's there. Danger signs early for Fremantle.
50 metres, they kill you. And they've extracted full price here. Let's have another look.
Look, nothing in it, Joe, but it's undisciplined.
Let's have a look from the side. You'll probably get more of a look here. Yeah, there was nothing in that at all. In fact, they were stiff there, the Dockers. Smart play by the Melbourne player, feinting at the right time.
Go high, Austin. Look at the footy. Look at the footy. The footy.
Brad Miller had a good year under Dean Bailey, and they're both from the same club in Queensland, Mount Gravatt, where Dean Bailey went up to coach for a little while. So maybe they have an affinity, Brad Miller and Dean Bailey. It's good to see his year getting better and better from the ball up. Johnson slaps it toward half forward. Bouncing ball. Wanameri lurking. Grover collects. Crowley goes back into trouble. Caught. threw it up to try and get rid of it. Turnover, Grover to Newton. Magnificent. Melbourne are hot.
Well, they're just taking the game on. They want the centre clearance, and Paul Johnson followed up his good ruck work, kicked the ball into the forward line. But the pressure of when you've got Wanameri, Davey down there, they've got a lot of pace. You mentioned it in the pre-game, Jared, and that's what's catching Fremantle out at the minute. But on top of that, their endeavour is they've come to play. They've got off to a good start. Fremantle on their heels at the minute.
I thought there were good things coming in. I just like pace. I think we see Richmond bring a pacey side, a running side every time to Subi, and it's a good formula.
First goal for Michael Newton. And Austin Wanameri starting to create havoc already. Not leaving it to the last term today. From the ball up. Quick kick forward by Warnock. You heard the umpires play on call. Pavlich fights in hard. Campbell out not good though. Buckley.
Wingley back by Melbourne though, causing a lot of confusion with the forwards.
Chris Johnson. Michael Johnson's out there against him. Baton picks up and here they go. Bartram can peel off here or Shepherd. He shepherds for Bruce. Now Buckley. And he burns off Dodd. Got the handball out just in time. Bartram tries to slap it on. Getting back Warnock. Magnificent tackle by Sylvia. But they get it inside 50. They didn't score from it. They still took it the length of the ground. Get a ball up. 19 plays 1. Jones played for it, didn't get it. Pavlich, back pocket now, missed it. Morton, sidestep, goal. Fantastic, Demons. He's got 2.
Well, you're going to say it's a Matthew Pavlich mistake. He's going to sock the ball out, but it's that setup. Sylvia's the third man up. He's the man who caught the ball back in to the dangerous zone. Matthew Pavlich, okay. I mean, it's there. It's a mistake. You won't like it back on the replay, but where was their setup? They're not thinking about their football at the minute. They've got to be desperate in the last line of defence, whereas structurally, Melbourne are switched on. They've come to play. Third man up. You saw Silva tap the ball in the danger zone. You create opportunities. That's their 4th goal.
Was picked 4 in last year's draft. Carl Morton. There was talk coming in that his skills in the under-18 competition were exceptional. Had a very nervous first few games for the Demons. Turned it over a lot, but just starting to grow as a player now. Carl Morton, this game number 13. He's got 2 on the board. McManus fights in hard. Ball going nowhere, ball up.
And Smithy, the scoreline reads 4 goals, 1 to 1 behind, but Matthew Pavlich off the ground.
Yeah, Jared, he started on in the midfield with Lyndon Dunn being his direct opponent, with McFarlane being up the forward line. So Lyndon Dunn's done a pretty good job.
Got some big scalps this year as well, Lyndon Dunn. Wheatley to Jones.
Look at this through the middle.
Morton again.
You're not going to have any accountability. Well,
didn't go for number 3, went for Newton that couldn't mark it. He got the good fly though.
Just interesting watching the ruck drill at the present time. Mark Jamo is really working hard on Robbie Warnock. Rob Warnock, of course, has been rumoured to be in the eye of the Melbourne recruiting staff, and Jamo knows he may be fighting for his personal spot.
Wanameri. Bell, little fumble, that was enough. Shammer dives in, gets it out to O'Brien. Brock O'Brien, just his 3rd game, gets the free kick for too high. 2nd game of this season, 3rd game overall, and the kick is good to Tarrant. Gets some applause.
Didn't get much of a rest, Pavlich. He's back on.
dangerous kick.
Here's a dangerous kick, and that's Matthew Warnock. And a good mark to him. Might be playing with his brother then, Jared. Older and younger brother together next year.
Well, Matthew coming to Fremantle, was he?
I think that theory was based on the fact that most people thought Melbourne were going to finish last. Based on what we're seeing today, Dwayne, that's not going to happen.
No, it might be an all-West Australian affair, that battle, when the Derby is played in a few weeks' time here. A lot of time left in this game, though. 25 plays 1, and we did see in round 7 when these 2 teams met, a team that looked home up by 50 points, beaten in the end. So Warnock. Johnson. Umpires puffing and panting, as you can hear. I think you can hear it.
It's hard work out there for him.
McManus. Hard work out there for him as well. Sandlands hassled well by Stephen Martin. Magnificent piece of play by the shorter and less experienced Stephen Martin in game number 3.
free kick with that arm. He's holding that arm. He can't pin that arm. And there is an umpire on that other side. So one for the umpire that missed.
All tied up. Carr tries to get it out. Stephen Martin can play tall. He's 21-year-old ex-basketball rep for Australia, represented Australia at under 20 basketball just 2 years ago. And then he decided to take footy seriously last year and had an outstanding year and was drafted. It's been a quick transition from one to the other for him. So he can play tall. Free kick, no advantage to Crowley.
This time it's Aaron Sandlands running to the bench in a double change.
And this is where they probably like Sandlands down there. Packed house inside 50 and no tall target to kick to. Jomar, his man, gobbles it up. And one ruckman will see their knock to clearance stats improve dramatically today, you would think. Jomar and Sandlands get their hands to a lot of balls, but don't get knocks to clearances all that often against the good teams. But someone's going to do well today, you'd think. Wheeler to Newton. Thornton with the fist. Grover, Thornton. Shammer. Now Brown. And Pavlich. Open forward line. Terrence got 3 to beat though. So the short pass is on. McManus. Still Melbourne with numbers back to the goal square. And McManus stumps it straight to them. And Jomar take 2. Crowd restless here.
We've seen this a lot with the Doc. It's just long bombs, long bombs, long bombs, and it's a recipe for just absolute disaster. They have got to find some shorter targets in the forward 50 and get it in quicker before Melbourne drop all their players back.
Well, it's a recipe. You're not going to kick any goals. That's all it means.
Free kick, another undisciplined piece of play. This time from Thornton. That was going to be a ball in. Thornton gives the free kick to Miller. Bartram. Show you that again shortly. Bartram has it on the wing. Takes on Peake. Bruce, bait. He thumps it long. And Warnock stands in the hole, takes the mark. So the same point not working at the other end. There's a lot of old watchers of the game, gentlemen, who say bang it long, but footy's changed a lot. And teams are now ready for the old bang it long. That was clever from Head. He used exactly that. O'Brien, is that deliberate? Yeah, you betcha. Crowd not happy, but it was there. Another free kick to Melbourne. Valenti started on the bench.
Byron Shammer's trying to... Yeah, it is.
Did he play on there, the umpire?
Play on. Byron Shammer's trying to get to the bench. And then he's realised he's going to run through the mark. Hayden probably could have given him the benefit of doubt. I think Hayden can experience someone and see what he's going to do. But in the rules, that's 50 minutes.
Now this is a set play normally for the NAB Cup. When they want the super goal, it doesn't work. This time Wheatley's kick out of bounds on the full.
I think it was just a total confusion to finish because Hayden Kinley did call play on.
He did. And then Shammer was called for playing on.
But there lies a responsibility with Shammer to work it out that he's going to infringe on the mark and wait his turn. So think about your football, son.
You're inside, player.
There was the call. You're inside the boundary. Kept it low, turned it over. Davey was paid the mark. So we're into time on here. We've played 23 minutes, opening term, and the home team hasn't kicked a goal. Wheatley over the head of Main. Hand off from Sylvie to Johnson, and he finds Miller on the second grab. And he's within range. Already got one, Brad Miller.
They've got numbers still unaccountable.
Johnson, centre half forward, 48 from goal.
Well, they've pinged it round from one corner of the 50 to the other corner and now back to the middle. Somebody's going to take a shot from the 50.
And this will be it. A man with probably the thickest, biggest leg in the team. Originally a Frankston boy before he came over and played his game for the West Coast. And that is a monster kick. He has drilled it. And Fremantle are on the ropes.
I don't think it's been too extravagant to say that, Dwayne. I think they are right on the ropes there. Body language is pathetic right now. There's just no urgency. Melbourne are running a little bit harder, attacking a little bit more ferociously, and they need just to get a score. Just a score, Jacko, to give them something to take to the quarter-time huddle.
Certainly help.
Big goal.
.30-point lead in the shadows of quarter-time for the away team. Fremantle in trouble. The Demons look solid. Sylvia. Caught by Mundy, but got the handball out. Morton having a good first term. Buckley. Open midfield for him to run. Gets a Shepherd. Gets past Carr. Wobbles it inside 50. Wanameri caught behind. Had a little slip and Brown. In fact, O'Brien takes the mark. Heads wide. McManus. Johnson.
Nice work from O'Brien.
The play on quick Tarrant. Too far out to score, knows it. Open forward line. The leads come. Pavlich and McFarlane down there. Pavlich almost a second grab. McFarlane almost a crumb. Tapped it to his own advantage. Caught! Valenti made it a 2-on-1 and almost stole it himself. He's dragged down. Ball up. Well played by Shane Valenti. Game number 5 for him. Melbourne lucky. They were able to put him on the senior list. Clever manipulation of the rules. When Neitz retired, they said he wasn't retired. He was just going to the long-term injury list. And that allowed them to promote him. Now a free kick here, and Ibbotson can kick the first goal for Fremantle.
Actually, it's terrific work by the big man, Sandlands, flicking it back to a good spot. And anybody, I mean, he could, with the right people at his feet, redefine ruck work. The big bloke, he's had a great year. Difficult circumstances, and he's got some young talent coming through.
Massive kick this. You give Fremantle some momentum heading into quarter time, and the oohs and ahs tell the story. Even one of their best performers this year, Eric Ibbotson, can't kick the goal. Paul Johnson. Good spoil. Ibbotson trying to make amends, wrapped up by Matthew Whelan. Get a ball up. 31 plays 2. And the ball up. Neither ruckman could get anywhere near it.
In the side,
Ibbotson. Handball out to Mark Johnson. Wrapped up. Almost stolen. Is stolen by Davey. Demons away. Valenti to the open side.
Kick. Nice kick.
It was a good kick. Chris Johnson. Fumble. Caught by McManus. Great tackle. Turnover. Main. Now the Dockers a chance on the rebound. Oh, Crowley left it behind. Davey handed him down. Crowley mopped up the mess. Gave to McManus. Kicks to McFarlane. Up against the boundary. Inside a minute to quarter time.
Sandlands in the middle.
You can see what Mark Harvey's trying to do with his best fullback or his best defender playing up forward in McFarlane. But I'm just not sure they can justify it at the present time, Jacko.
Thumps it to the square. Leapers go up. Tarrant from 4 deep at Whelan. Gave it down to Warnock. Buckley slips the tackle from Farmer. And they keep it alive. Done. 20 seconds.
Every side that tries to play with the 3 or 4 tools these days seems to get exposed because there's no run from behind. And Melbourne have just dominated taking the ball out of their back 50.
Buckley tried for Miller. Good tackle. Ball tied up in the middle. Sylvia unable to get away with it. Carr, Dodd, Shammer. Time beats them. But the good part for Fremantle is there's plenty of time left. You can hear the boos here. Trying to get back into this game or trying to make it a really ugly. As emergencies for today's game. Uze, White and McDonald, free kick, all didn't get a game today. All emergencies. Free kick out of the middle.
Josh Carr started something and then Fremantle ended up with a free kick. But that's good. You've got to get in the face of them. They've got to do something here, Fremantle.
So Sandland's long towards McManus.
That's mainly
Main it is.
That's a good mark. And it should have been a free kick. It was all over him and he took a good contested mark.
McManus shorter hair. Main's got his old hair. Sylvia takes the mark, back pocket. Dangerous kick, but okay. Stephen Martin.
What was interesting at the start of that quarter was as soon as the free kick was paid, Melbourne were so well drilled that the whole team ran into the fence. Now, I'm not sure they could play that way on this ground for the whole match, but it was just an amazing fight back, Jacko.
Well, it was, and it set up their lead. Thus, so far, they might not have to do it for 4 quarters because the game might be beyond them.
Brown, Bell, Sylvia and Johnson turn it over. Brown is touched by Johnson inside 50. Farmer, he got a toe on it. Warnock and Garland, clever. Takes it through for a score for Fremantle. 3 behinds. Garland, one of the shining lights this year for the Demons. Kicks in and finds Chris Johnson.
Lyndon Dunn going head-to-head with Josh Carr.
Nice mark. Paul Johnson plays on. Bake. No room for error there. Tucked up against the boundary line. Matthew Bake. 31 plays 3. The only 5 goals of the game, Melbourne's. Takes on head. Gee, made that tough.
Better pressure from Freo.
Wheatley got the handball up. Bake. The free kick's been found and it'll come back.
Boys, Dean Bailey said before the game where he was going to win this game was foot skills, hitting targets. And obviously, that's what Richmond did against West Coast last week. The bloke that's really setting them up is Paul Johnson. He's had a fair bit of the ball. I mean, he's up against Warnock and Sandilands, but big Paul Johnson has kicked a goal. He's found space, and here he is again.
Oh, Jones,
no one's going to man him up.
If this bounces, Jones kick, he gathers it.
Got no right foot.
Hands off to Beldo. He doesn't hand it to Main. He gave to Sandlands. He might turn it over. Ibbotson back to Farmer. Kick a little sloppy, but it might find the target. It does. Brown. Outer side wing. Bouncing ball. McFarlane. Stephen Martin. Had a good start to this game, Martin, but McFarlane beats him here. Spears it towards Pavlich at full forward. Another behind.
Jared, you've got to tell me that they weren't going to take a mark inside 50 and they were going to start Warner, Tarrant, McFarlane and Main in their forward 50.
The Sandlands dropping in there, you'd be a little bit surprised. You're right.
Very surprised.
Chance here again. Fremantle. Farmers kick inside 50. It's short. And the mark taken by Chris Johnson again. They peel to the open side. Martin. Held up. Wheatley got away.
Davey.
This is long. Carr chases Davey down, and Davey does brilliantly. Carr overcommitted. Attempted the mark. He could go the journey. Has another bounce. Sizes them up from 49. J-Mark could leave it. It was touched on the line. And dragged through by Dodd for a behind.
A little bit of the magic of Aaron Davies just started to come through at the moment.
Josh Head. Game number 2 for him. Back to Carr. Game number 183. And
Michael Johnson
speculation about his future as well. Michael Johnson.
He's the one playing on Paul Johnson.
Mundy. Head. Trying to take them on and unsuccessful. The clever player, Stephen Martin. Gets the handball up to Baylor. Miller on his own. Poke pass. He can play on here. Montgomery wants him to play on. He now realises.
Go to the goal.
He holds it up. Wants to spot pass instead and does to J-Mark with a little fumble. Probably the worst of the 3 options, but gee, he could have raffled it.
He had so much time because Fremantle are just not working. Well done to Melbourne. They've come here, they're prepared to work, but the lack of run into defence from Fremantle there was as bad as I've seen in modern day footy.
Both these teams with only 2 wins so far this season. Fremantle against the West Coast and North Melbourne. The Demons against Fremantle, of course, in round 7. And the Brisbane Lions a couple of weeks ago. And that form's holding solid. The opening goal of the second term for J-Mark.
We'll get another look at this because there were 3 options going forward. Here's Matthew Baden. He kicks the ball out. And Brad Miller, well, he could have gone short. Wanamiri was on his own. They had 2. They were 1 man down at this stage, Fremantle. And if you have a look at the players running into that area, they're all Melbourne jumpers. Well, a version of Melbourne jumpers anyway. And their defenders will be looking up the ground saying, any chance of a bit of help, fellas.
Jama with just his second goal of the year, 38-4. Still silence here at Subiaco. Sandlands gives up on his rovers, stumps it to centre half forward himself. Morton dragged down, holding the ball, good tackle Mundy.
And nothing wrong with that choice to go along with the punch.
Well, exactly, but gets you that far and gets this result. So now McFarlane a chance to kick Fremantle's first goal.
And that was their first mark inside 50, and it was at 49. So things are on the improve.
Coming off their equal worst scoring club history last week, Fremantle. Just 44 points against Geelong, but that was against the top team on the ladder. They're now against the bottom team on the ladder. Though on current form, they won't stay bottom for long. The Demons, another behind. The natives here are very, very restless. Rowan Smith.
Well, boys, you can just see there that Paul Wheatley just came off after that 70-metre pass to Aaron Davey. He's just worried about his left calf at the moment, so the physio is just talking to him now and giving him a little bit of a massage on that left calf.
Davey to Sylvia, and good bump on the kick. Johnson just put Johnson off.
Smart move from Wanamiri. Went back, and then he went forward and left head in his leg.
And Davey does look for him a lot. Jones, Bruce, Sylvia, Dunn. If it bounces, and it did nicely. Whelan directing traffic, trying to play the game plan. Throws it up in the air towards Morton, and almost a free. Spoiled by Johnson, knocks it down, and Main, half-back flank. Sends it long towards Mundy. Hunted down by Paul Johnson and held up. Didn't take him on. Short pass, Port, and Martin takes the mark. Good mark. He's a very good player. Whelan goes wide to Bruce. Short pass to Bate. And from 50, he wobbles it towards the forward pocket. Grover, caught by Miller. Headed toward the boundary line, gathered his own work.
Well played, Grover.
Crowley. Sandlands. Nice handball too. The Shammer can set it up. Dunks it long. Farmer. He's in position A. And he left it behind. He had it for all money. Garland steals it towards Davey. Mark Johnson with the fist. Back down to Shammer. Trying to set it up again.
Well done, Valetti.
Hustled, hassled. Sylvia with the tackle. Davey left it behind. Mark Johnson slaps it to Farmer. Handed it back to Shammer. He left it behind. And Paul Johnson kicks it out of play on the full. That minute and a half won't be on the time capsule. Short kick from Farmer to McManus.
Jack, I know they're using a lot of it up at the Pilbara at the present time, but any chance we could get a quick crate of dynamite sent down here, because there's 18 Docker players out there that could use a little dose of it.
Player that's out of form, Jeffrey, just confidence down today.
I need more than dynamite for that rocket, Jerry. They need NASA. Mibbertson. One of the shining lights of the year. Shows them how to do it. Game 14, and he kicks their first goal.
Well, just the threat of the dynamite created something, Jack. Well done to Mibbertson. They were building. I reckon there was 15 clangers in the space of 3 minutes, but they just kept barging the ball forward, and finally a goal.
Just keeping the ball alive. It was a comedy of errors, as you described it, Jared, but to Fremantle, it wasn't pretty, but they mustered a goal. Their challenge now is to get back-to-back goals and get a bit of momentum and a bit of pace through their forward line.
First goal for Fremantle, first goal for Garrick Ibbotson today. Fremantle just have to keep the pressure on Melbourne. They've lost their past 7 games here at Subiaco, the Demons. They've won here since 2004. Got to put some doubt back in their mind.
Look for the big punch.
Up they rise, and Jamar does well, although did well. Tapped it to Sandlands. Main the 3, too high.
Just getting a bit of a taste for it now, the Dockers. Can they get back-to-backs?
Carr to Tarrant. Good fist. Peak. Tarrant. Johnson. Slips the left foot kick to McFarlane. Oh, he was crunched by his own man, Brown. So they turned it over again. Bell through the legs of Dunn. Chris Johnson, half held. Play opposite the umpire. Bell again. It's time to bait. Gee, they move it well. And Miller inside 50 takes the mark. He's been wanting to hit targets at this point. Buckley hurt.
Just kick a goal.
Okay, we kick the goal, that's right.
So Buckley's still in the hands of trainers. In fact, 2 Demons in the hands of trainers.
Just fell on him, a bit winded.
But all eyes on Brad Miller. Already has one. Nice off the boot. Evans got the carry, and it hasn't touched on the line. And will have to come off Buckley. Simon Buckley to the bench. Stephen Martin up and okay. Head entrusted with the kick in.
Well, they've always got one obvious target.
And Jamar makes it tough for Sandlands. Good spoil. 2 on 1 now. Dodd caught by Miller. Hands to Sandlands. The big man lifted the arms above everybody's head to Dodd. O'Brien. Johnson. Carr.
Better running.
Thornton. He could go all the way.
Yeah,
Spears to Pavlich. And now the crowd roar.
Well, it's the first time we've seen a wave of Docker runners for a couple of weeks. It's just been, it's been old hat football, and it's just led to blokes with their heads down, hands on hips, and finally there just appears to be a number of players starting to get a bit energised.
Well, he's the man, Matthew Pavlich. He was best on ground, got the 3 Brownlow votes in both games against Melbourne last year. He dominated both games. They need him to dominate this one. He kicks the goal. His first.
Well, gentlemen, it's that calculated long kick we spoke about before. They can get you into trouble where it's a 50-50, but the kick by Josh Head, very good long kick he is, out of fullback, went to Aaron Sandilands. Now, you've got to back him in because he's the biggest bloke in the competition. He's improved his football, can take a good mark now, and between him and Dodd, they won that 50-50 contest, transferred the ball through the middle of the ground and found a leading target, Matthew Pavlich. Now, that pace through the middle of the ground, that's what Melbourne have been doing. Fremantle now need to continue that throughout the remainder of the game.
He's on the board, Matthew Pavlich. A couple on the bench for the Demons. Bartram just stretching to come back on, but tucked in behind him was Simon Buckley getting some treatment. We'll check with Rowan Smith shortly. From the ball up. Clearance vital here. No one gets it. We'll get another ball up.
Dwayne, it just looks like he's actually got, as Simon Buckley he's got a kick to the shin. So they're just cleaning him up and just a little bit of a wobble, but he should be back on soon.
Sylvia. Down to the palm down, but turned it over with the handball. Main through traffic. Johnson, he could go the journey from 45. Didn't know whether to pass or kick the goal and did neither in the end. Kicked it behind.
Some better signs though, Jacko. Some run. Yeah, running numbers.
Just Michael Johnson has got to get that added to his game. He's finishing off. This year, his skills and his hitting of targets has somewhat come down. In his first couple of years, that was a highlight. It was a feature from his rebound footy off the half-back line. Was hitting targets.
Main marks Garland's kick in. Quickly back inside 50. Fist comes. Chris Johnson down to Jones. Hacks it out of the area. Sylvia, nice grab. Big mark that. Against the taller Johnson. And the kick's okay as well to Chris Johnson. As I said, 4 of them out there. Paul, Chris, Michael and Mark Johnson today. Kick towards half forward. It was Paul Johnson, couldn't take the mark. Thornton, hands to Dodd. Hands to Warnock. Free kick behind play. And Dodd was dealt with after the ball was given away.
Stay there.
So what you're saying is Travis was traded under the too many Johnsons rule.
Head kicks it to Thornton. Gee, put him under immense pressure. Free kick for the arm slap.
Sense of danger here now to do is they put in a lot of work, and right now the Dockers have got the momentum. They've got to hold it and find a way to get some score back on the board.
Well, the worrying sign with that, Jared, is it's taken a quarter and a bit to start playing footy.
So Thornton to thump it inside 50. The leads come. McFarlane flies, can't mark. Pav almost crumbed it, knocked it to Tarrant. Hands it off to Brown. Launches it toward the goal square. And it should be rushed through for a behind. It is Sylvia with the fist.
The only explanation for that, Jacko, is that they did try the other approach, being 50 points up at half-time, and it didn't work. So this is reverse technology.
Spearing pass in from fullback to Bruce. Takes the mark. These two teams met twice last year. Fremantle won both games by 45 and by 59 points. And they look headed for victory, of course, in round 7 when they led by 50. Sylvia. Good tackle, Johnson. Dragged him down. And Michael Johnson starting to inspire.
Well, they're starting to force a few areas against Melbourne there. They should have cleared that ball away easily, but good tackle, as you said.
Dodd to Peake. Has a sneak peek. And then sends it long. And can't kick the goal. Only a behind. So Davey entrusted with the kick in here for the Demons. And thumps it in quickly to Valenti. 60-metre pass.
Well, 13-5 inside 50s for this quarter. So Fremantle starting to get their way back into this game.
Newton and Jamar couldn't grab it. Warnock does for Fremantle. Jamar, he handed it straight to O'Brien, who thumps the Dockers back inside 50. Pavlich, big fly, didn't bring it down. Had a nice piece of it. And gets up with it. Ties it up, we'll get a ball up. Almost. And the ball up. Holding the ball. Didn't get it onto a toe. Free kick for taking it out of the ruck from Jamar. Gives it off. Wheatley. Chris Johnson.
Sweet have done
happy
really
to take
well.
it out.
Fremantle, they have just blocked Melbourne up, and they're struggling to get the ball outside of their back half with any sort of velocity, any purpose. Possessions, they're getting a few in the back half, but they're just not getting it forward into the dangerous areas, Glenn.
No, they're not, and that's the added pressure that Fremantle's now applying, but they've got to convert it on the goal, scoreboard.
Warnock and Jamar went at it, and we'll get another ball up. You mentioned Sean McManus. Do you think he will announce his retirement during the week, Jacko? 226th game for him.
Well, I think in the next month there'll be an announcement, but whether it happens this week or not, it remains to be seen.
Sylvia caught, dragged down in the tackle. Still in there. Jones rakes it out. Kyle Morton. Open forward line of the Demons can get it down there. Only one-on-ones ahead. And Miller wrapped up in a nice tackle by Dodd. Turnover. O'Brien, who's looked good. Chips the kick. Garden lifted behind. Tarrant.
Good vision.
Carr gets back. Can't take the mark. Knew what he wanted to do. Maybe the old legs couldn't get him there. And it's out of play.
Just a bit down on confidence, Josh Carr's got to stop being so harsh on himself, move back and just get back to basics. That's what he built a great career on.
From the ball in. Fremantle now pressing hard. Slowly working their way back into this contest. You've just joined us. And Melbourne led by 29 points at quarter time. The 5-0 opening term. Pavlich getting nice pieces of it. Shammer spins around. They're on the way back.
Well, it's just a good ruck contest. Thinking footballers at time criticised Fremantle. They just weren't using their thought process at all. But won the contest. See Matthew Pavlich fired out the handball to a player that was in a dangerous position. Well done, Byron Shammer.
I noticed that Melbourne have got Carl Morton just dropping down at the back of some of their stoppages. We saw him take a couple away, but I mean, Byron Shammer has got a man-on-man job, and yet his direct opponent wasn't with him.
First goal of the game, first goal of the year for Byron Shammer. Game number 99 for him. Plays 100th in his old hometown, South Australia, against Port Adelaide next week. Crowley got the kick away, tackled well by Dunn, but Was able to get boot on ball. Pavlich, another good wrap-up tackle. Spins out of it, shoots it out. O'Brien dives in, gets one for too high. So Brock O'Brien inspiring them in game 3.
Now that contest, I think, reflected where the game's at the moment. They're now more desperate, Fremantle, than Melbourne, and certainly O'Brien was a little bit keener on it than Cameron Bruce, who's had a fairly quiet quarter.
Brock O'Brien had his debut round 22 last year. Davey spins out of trouble. Sends it to Garland, and a well-measured kick.
Jeff, back 2 metres.
Again, Melbourne struggling to get the ball out of this back 50.
Stephen Martin. And that's a poor effort from Matthew Warnock. Turnover. Dribble kick from McManus, didn't quite reach a target. Whelan almost sat on by Shammer. Ball tied up. And we'll get a ball up, but the crowd starting to enjoy the increased work rate of their boys.
Jeffrey Farmer's
there, sorry, with that big strapping on that shin.
He's not having a big impact in the forward line. Time to move him in the midfield or get him to get into the game.
It's got to be worth considering, Glenn.
Morton took them on, tackled by Carr. Holding the ball, Josh Carr's free.
Now that's the basics that Josh Carr has built his career on. And this goes through, all of a sudden they're just 7 points up. Melbourne, after absolutely having the game in their control at quarter time.
Again, you could hear a pin drop at Subiaco. Crowd know the importance of this kick. He's kicked 5 goals, 3 this year.
He's kicked it.
Slots it. And suddenly they look dangerous.
Well, once again, it was just through their pressure in their forward line. That's the pleasing aspect of this quarter for Fremantle. Once it's got into their forward 50, and it sits at the minute inside 50, 17-5. And now they're having a direct result on the scoreboard. And as you mentioned, it's a 7-point ball game, Jared. But their pressure, win the football, good tackle. And he sized that up very well, Josh Carr, that time. Went back against his left foot, kicks a nice goal.
99th goal of his career, Josh Carr. Premiership player of Port Adelaide, of course. And kicks a vital goal there. 9 of the 10 goals kicked so far on the game to one end. But there's no breeze.
Nothing to talk about, but that was just good work from Josh Carr. He's pushed down there to be a defensive, aggressive forward pocket.
Shammer found Carr, but he couldn't mark it that time. Whelan sends it long towards Bate. Ibbotson attacks it. Knocks it toward O'Brien. It bounced unkindly for him. Bruce and O'Brien dive in. And O'Brien wins the free.
And good play to just get on his feet straight away. This pressure.
McManus, strong hands. Feeds it off to Peake. Might go the journey. Sends the drop punt towards Pavlich.
He was on.
He was either play on or 50. And umpire Craig Henry took the easy way out.
Very relieved man, I think, Matthew Pavlich, because he certainly
That's
played
your
on
line, Matthew. Yeah, I'll get rid of it.
there it is.
It was a little footstep.
Well, that's either 50 or it's play on. You're not allowed to grab the player after he marks the ball.
Spot on.
On there, fellas. Ball.
What a change in momentum. It's a 1-point game.
Yeah, it's a much better performance, and a performance you'd expect from Fremantle. Home done in front of their home crowd. They're turned up. It was lamentable in that first quarter. It was about a footy as we've seen played, I reckon, for this season. And Melbourne played particularly well, and yet Melbourne have stopped running. They've stopped taking risks coming out of defence. And all of a sudden, the pressure of Fremantle has created opportunities in front of goal.
Jared, the other bloke that's improved and had a big impact, Byron Shammer, 7 possessions plus a goal in this quarter.
Matthew Pavlich kicked 5 goals against Melbourne at the MCG in that round 7 loss. Couldn't kick his 6th to win the game. And they rely on him so heavily. He's got 2 so far. Tie up in the middle. Desperation from from Fremantle in the second term we didn't see in the opening quarter. And we'll get a ball up 26 minutes in, second term. A chance for Fremantle to go in with the lead at half-time. Pavlich thumps it long. Martin left it behind. Pressure now on the Demons. Good wrap-around tackle. No free, no prior. Ball up. Thump. Sandlands. McFarlane. He spins it around and misses. It's all square.
Sandlands has certainly created some problems from the clearances here and the stoppages.
And it's about contested possession as well. It's just one way at the present time. Fremantle, after being flogged early, are now dominant.
Martin to Chris Johnson. Melbourne just want to stop the bleeding at the moment. Done.
Main, Shammer and O'Brien have been the three major weapons for the Dockers in this turnaround. They've won 13 contested possessions between them.
Dunn sends it long. Middle of the target, won't get there. Sandlands held it long enough. So you didn't have to come behind his mark either. Plays on to Shammer. The leads come. Things going Fremantle's way at the moment. Peak having an influence in their second term. Takes on Wanamiri, who hunts him down. Ibbotson, short but bait. Cuts it off, no mark. Well played Crowley, hassled him enough. Bartram, grab it up to Valenti, to Jones, and now Carl Morton. Needed to put his body on the line, thrown out of it, didn't have it.
Size that up a little bit better, Aaron Sandlands. Don't doubt his commitment, but he was 1 on 4 and the one has got the free kick.
Still an open forward line. Fremantle not flooding back. There's one-on-ones ahead for Carl Morton. Just depends on which one-on-one he wants. Valenti.
It was too easy, Pete. You let him come off you, were too easy.
I think that's an issue they've got to address over the off-season, or even between now and the end of the year. They've got to get some numbers back. Fremantle got to learn to run hard and support their defence.
Grover and Head, who did get back. Short. McFarlane. 1 minute 20. Scores level. Toward the wing. Garland and Tarrant were there. Neither could grab it. Whelan, little shuffle out towards Garland. Fumble. Gives it up at Bell under immense pressure. Turnover. Carr. Head. Inside 50 towards Crowley. Gave the push.
It was just body contact and trying to get back into position.
It was great work from the kid though. Valenti, he was gone. And he did really well in a hopeless situation.
Gee, not a lot in that.
No, there wasn't. He almost backed back into his hands. Seconds tick. Melbourne maintain possession. Sylvia to Dunn. Along the line. Matthew Warnock. Led by 29 points at quarter time, the Demons. Along towards Jamar. One last chance of a score. Needs to thump this inside 50 quickly. Won't be aware of the time. Clock on the scoreboard reached 30 minutes. Maybe time for a mark to Wanamiri. He's got it. But it will take a monster kick.
Josh Head. I mean, the message said the runners have been out saying the clock's down. He just had to kill that ball from that contest. And I know he's a bit tired. It is his second league game, but just had to be stronger in the air. Only the 6 possessions, 3 shots on goal. He kicked 3 points, but I just think his best foot is off that half-back line. He really excites Fremantle and gets them moving through the middle of the ground.
Melbourne have just got to go back to their run though. They've been beaten badly in that second quarter, but they showed in the first quarter what they can do if they work hard, particularly out of defence.
Sandlands threw it down to Bruce, but King didn't find a target. Dodd cuts it off. Bartram flies. Can't bring it down. Brown fights on and collects. Little chip kick from Brown. Good. Tarrant. 55 from goal. Wheels around. Throws it up for Pavlich. Farmer stays down. Ball punched forward. Farmer fed to the back, hoping. Mark Johnson, he's wrapped up. Pavlich slips the handball out. McManus, Brown, back to McManus, slips the tackle from the pocket, kicked 100 or so from there. And more importantly, he's kicked this one to give them the lead.
Well, just break the tackles too easy, Melbourne. There's been a bit more depth spread in the last line of defence in an area where you'll kick goals. Just a couple of tackles got broken. But Fremantle just in the second quarter kept the ball alive. That one had to stick. And Shawnee Mack, he loves it from there. He's kicked a few from there another time. But good start for Fremantle. Johnson missing that tackle.
You've just blamed half the side, Jacko.
Could he be the hero? Is the closest thing Fremantle have to an icon, Sean McManus. And there's the Melbourne icon watching on, Jim Steins. From the ball up.
He wouldn't be liking what he's seeing right now, Jim Steins. Melbourne have worked really hard early in the piece, and that first 2 minutes wasn't a great reflection on the match, if that's where it's going to head.
They were getting their hands on the football and they were clean, whereas we've just seen a lot of mistakes, fumbles and just missed opportunities.
Bartram too high. Bartram with the free.
Sean, back here, Sean.
Oh. Given the benefit of the doubt there, Sean McManus. Done. Miller. 80 from goal. Central kick. Wanameri will need to fly. Can't.
Just
knocked it down. Crowley. Carr.
Stump footy though from Brad Miller. There's no option there. There was 2 against 3.
Thornton couldn't get a kick away. Well, he did. It was a toe. Morton.
Division.
And now Bruce on 50. Maybe just beyond him. And he knows it.
It went long.
So he sends it to the pocket, and Miller, that was clever football to find that space. And thought about playing on.
Can't question his work rate, Brad Miller, but from that position, he should go back and slot it. The options would look to have dried up.
Speaking of heroes, he was the hero a couple of weeks ago in Melbourne's last win against the Brisbane Lions. He's got one. To level the scores again. Spears it through the middle, and it's all square.
Well, you mentioned it, Jared. Had to go back and slot it through. If you want to be a key forward, like the Pavliches and the Roughheads and the Franklins of the competition, that's what Brad Miller has to do, is go back. He was looking to give that off, but his work rate was fantastic. He was on the other side of the 50 moments before that, worked his way back to the top of the goal square, then led to the hole, got himself a kick or a mark, and then went back and slotted it through. So that's their avenue now for this next 30 minutes. Go through him.
Two goals now for Brad Miller. 45 apiece. Sandlands. Back inside the centre circle with Jamar. They collide. Sandlands with the handball out of the Mark Johnson direction. Trying to spin through Morton. Good tackle. Dunn dives in. Brown dives over him. And we'll get a ball up. Good to see Andrew Brown playing well. 24th game in 7 seasons. No games in 05, no games in 06. 4 games last year. It's been a hard road for Andrew Brown. From the ball up. Good knockdown. Bait. Miller peels wide.
She's such a shocking kick.
It bounces unkind as well. Gets the handball out, but Dodd, he left it behind. Towed it back to Miller. No prior opportunity. Dragged down. Ball up.
Needs to work on that, Matthew Bates. Got a lot of attention, a lot of potential, but must hit targets. Brad Miller did the right thing. Got on the lead. Needed to be hit.
And that is the difference between the good teams and the bad teams. Geelong rarely miss a target. Dunn steals, could have given to Jones, goes the whole way himself, and across the face. They're in front by behind.
Disappointing. Should have handled it straight to Jones, who was forward of him, which would have resulted in less pressure and an easier shot on goal.
Everton got it from Grover. Mark Johnson, Kyle Morton, the old and the new. Morton had plenty of it, should have marked it, and now Head made it a 2-on-1. Was pushed by Davey, pushed him in the back, no free, and McManus takes it out. Interesting that push that players give in the back when a player is kicking, whether that is actually a free or not.
No, it's a free. Just wasn't paid.
Sandlands gathers his own work. Jeffrey Farmer trying to hunt down Carl Morton. Davey, Wheatley's got two to beat here. Needs to be good. Needs to find a target. There's no one ahead. That's the best option. Kick it to himself. Can roll it out. Very clever. Very, very clever from Paul Wheatley. Crowd not happy. They knew what he was going to do, and so did he. It's just a matter of whether he disguised it or not. Jamar tried to slip it out. Mundy stole it back. Head. Long kick. McFarlane tied up. Stephen Martin can rush the behind. He takes it through.
Jeez, he's got some strength, Stephen Martin. The way he held out McFarlane there was excellent.
As I mentioned, that basketball history. You can use body, but you can't actually push. You can only gain position first.
Much better out of defence from Melbourne. And they've got a spare man up the ground if he looks quickly.
So Morton to Miller. Johnson's short. He goes to Watamiri. Big punch by Brown. In fact, it was Ibbotson who got the fist in. Rowan Smith.
Well, boys, Stephen Dodd just come to the ground, just come to the boundary, and Mark Harvey got him on straight on the phone. He was matched up on Matthew Bate just in this third quarter, and just giving him just too much space at the moment, so he's giving him another bake.
Carr breaks free to McManus, who backsteps. Hard to kick on the backstep, but he finds Crowley.
He's got some loose men forward now, Freo.
He can go all the way, Mitch O'Brien. Brock O'Brien, I should say, runs to 50. Sends it long. Kicks his first ever goal.
And right now it's Melbourne that's not chasing and running into the fence, Jacko. It was pretty evident from up here on the Glenn Jakovic grandstand wing that you just could see the stream of Freo players going forward. Matthew Bate, half a chase there. He'd need to
Bartram had to come up to him. That's it. Too late. It was too late. Sometimes you just got to leave your man. If your man ends up getting the ball over from the handball, well, so be it, and your man kicks the goal. But it's very easy to just protect your own man. Go up to the actual ball carrier and take him on.
Nick 52, back in the 2006 draft. Brock O'Brien played in the Teal Cup team with Chris Maston and Reece Palmer, who were in their first year of Teal Cup that year. And he's looking solid today, Brock O'Brien, from the ball up. Bruce, Wheatley, Miller, the 1-2 and the knockdown. Wheatley, Bruce, Wheeler. Just needs to finish. Miller, one grab, the second, didn't get the third. Ibbotson the free, but play on advantage Grover. They're a different team at the moment, Fremantle. The hand over the top was good. Peak,
run.
Thornton, open forward line. Farmer calls short. Good punch from Bell. McFarlane gathers the crumb. Bell wraps him up. Got the handball out though. Main, McFarlane, Farmer. Tried to be too clever. Garland. He cuts it off. Martin tries to tunnel a handball out. Pavlich collects. Dumped by Bell. Ball spills. Dodd. McManus just kicked one from here. It bounces through. And straight through the hands and out of play.
I'll tell you one bloke that's really, got under the radar a little bit is Sean McManus. His work rate's been fantastic.
And on the boundary line, looks like an injury to the Dockers, Rowan.
Yeah, Brock O'Brien's just come from the ground. It's a bit unfortunate. He's just gone straight into the dugout with the doctor, so I'll just keep an eye on that one.
Morton to Buckley, who was injured in the opening half, but is back on. Finds Whelan.
He just gets you to check those Melbourne injuries, whether or not they are going to come back on.
Morton. Paul Johnson. 52 to 46. Buckley. He takes on Brown and wins. Dumps it long. Bate, Sylvia, they're both there. They both fall. Watamiri keeps his feet. Paul Ibbotson again with the drag down tackle. Johnson to Shammer. He sends it long and they're away on the rebound here. Brown. Peak. Pavlich is free. Peak sees him. He can run. He can take a couple of bounces. He could go all the way if he gets the Shepherds.
Stay with him, Pete. Let him stay with him. It was a good block.
Pokes the pass to Towns.
Geez, there's a committed chase from Paul Reed. He looked good. Darren owes them one big time.
Well, any doubt, that's where Fremantle's future is. Gary Hubertson against a quality pacey player, fantastic chase down. And this is the direct result with Taran having a shot on goal.
Missed one earlier in the game, and it was a terrible miss from 30 metres directly out. He's now got 2 behinds for the game, Chris Tarrant. Fremantle Brains Trust with Mark Harvey there. Former Fremantle coach Chris Connolly in the opposition box today, in the Demon box. Whelan to Valenti. Chip kick poor. And that's 50. Gee, Thornton took the mark and then was wrapped up.
At the start of the year, they would have played that.
Quarter play on. Bangs it in Hope. Fists come. Little tap out from Warnock. Got it out. Garland. Good pressure. Stolen by Crowley. Takes on Bell. Handed toward Tarrant, but he couldn't mop it up. Shamit ahead. He thumps it long. Sandlands with 3 to beat. Good fist, though, from Johnson. And we'll get a ball in. 53 to 46. Melbourne led by 34 points, 5 minutes in second term. Main. Sandlands reaches down, gets the snap away, but it's wide. Out of play on the full.
A long time to get down.
Yeah. And then a long way for the ball to finally reach his foot again. There is Mark Harvey. In fact, he's coaching against his old teammate for a little while. Mark Harvey and Dean Bailey both playing for the Bombers together. Dean Bailey only there for a couple of years, 91 and 92, just playing the 53 games. And Mark Harvey, premiership player with the club, of course. Oh. Big leap, but no mark. Gee, Valenti went high. Would have been nice to see him bring it down. Tarrant brings it down to head. Farmer, he might rise here. Jeffrey, stolen from him by McFarlane.
Well, this time the long ball didn't work. It's taken a long time, but they've got one.
Plays on and goals.
One area they've been able to release, or one player releases, Josh Head. He's had a couple of inside 50s. He's actually coming up towards the wing and half forward, and that penetrating left foot as he marks direct instruction is to wheel on, just like Chris Tarrant does, but his is a bit more penetrating. If you go to the top of the square where you've got Sandilands is resting down there, McManus has got to go through general play, but on that occasion, Luke McFarlane, it's going to work more times than not, so they've got to continue that.
As so often happens, he gets the rest for his goal. Luke McFarlane, 59 to 46. From the ball up.
Bruce on Pavlich.
Crowley with the takeaway. Wobbles it inside 50. It's all about the bounce. Chris Johnson wrapped up by Tarrant. No prior opportunity. Ties it up. Ball up.
Chris Tarrant left his direct opponent to engage that tackle and keep the ball inside their forward 50, an area they've been very good after quarter time for Fremantle.
Bright sunshine here at Subiaco, and Sandlands wins the palm down. Bruce concedes the behind.
So much has the pressure been down in the Fremantle forward line. That's their 4th rush behind by Melbourne to Fremantle's benefit.
14 points, the biggest lead that Fremantle's had in this game. Buckley, chased down by Farmer, but got away with it. Turns it over. Grover, no one to go too long. Pavlich, Dodd, got the kick away, but it was under pressure. Dodd. Sun in the eyes of Garland. Stephen Martin, almost. Just gets the kick away towards Bate and Dodd. Dodd's fist thumps it to the line. And we'll get a ball in.
We're in a little bit of trouble here, Jared. Where in the first quarter they were able to come out with these, and okay, there's a lack of pressure from Fremantle, but they're under pressure now, Melbourne, out of their back 50. They're just kicking it to no man's land.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting assisted up the ground. The work rate is poor up the field, providing options.
Warnock kicks it in the air. Shabba gets there and takes the mark. Maybe too far out to score.
He's got to go back here. He can kick this.
No breeze today.
Very standing on that line.
Already has one.
Very gettable for him.
It swings back. Not enough. Big fly, goal square. Crowley can't mark. Earlier behind.
He never dies
Margin
wondering,
continues to
Crowley.
stretch.
Always has a crack.
Play on. Not 15 according to the umpire.
Yours?
Martin towards goal. Shammer again.
Shepherd by Farmer.
I can smell a lifeline at the moment. Mundy, he takes off. Pavlich, a little slip. Gets the free. Untidy from Chris Johnson.
Look where you are
And
now.
Pavlich is within
Look
range.
at you. I'm not even going to go and argue the point.
Don't waste your breath.
Where you are.
It was sloppy stuff. He had him wrapped up.
Yeah. Matthew Pavlich, possession number 16 coming up, lining up for goal number 3 and having an accurate day at the office today. 2 straight. Crowd hush again. 56 for the season, having another outstanding year. Has 57 now. And Fremantle extend the lead.
An amazing turnaround, Jacko. They look like they're travelling like comfortable winners at the moment, and Melbourne are looking like the bottom of the ladder side. They've just lost their run, they've lost their spark, and I think they've lost their work rate. You look at the numbers around the ball, generally the doctors are out weighing them. And I'm not sure where Dean Bailey goes from here, but he's got to do some changes because this trend has been going now for a quarter and a half, and it doesn't look to be getting any better.
Matthew Pavlich comes off after kicking a goal. Bounce to restart it. Demons on the ropes. Shammer dives in. Can't break free with it.
Get it clear.
And a rubber out tackle too high. Shammer, good effort. Won it back.
Had a pretty fair day, Byron Shammer. He's had a lot of them this season, but this is terrific for him.
Peak. Slips the pass to Johnson. Plays on quickly. Johnson to Johnson. He kicks it inside 50. Bouncing ball. Sandlands couldn't reach down to get it. Martin caught by Tarrant. Holding the ball. Gee, looked to get a handball away quickly there. Could have been deliberate.
Well, Hayden Kennedy was right in front of him, so this replay will tell us why. No, good decision.
Don't come from behind in basketball.
Yeah.
Good positioning by Hayden Kennedy, the umpire.
They don't push your face into the turf either. Pass the ball like that.
Or the floorboards.
No, it's true. Chris Tarrant. He's missed a couple of easy ones. You'd think he'd kick the tough one. He doesn't. To the near side. More murmurs when Chris Tarrant has a possession. 68 to 46. Warnock. Davey. Back to Warnock. This was working for Melbourne in the opening term. Wheatley. Newton flies. Can't mark. Thornton can't crumb. Bate does. Tries to thread a handball out. Newton gets it away towards Bruce. Now done. A one-on-one to the goal square. Sylvia's down there. Head with him. Good palm down. Head to his own advantage. Sylvia tracks him down, but he gets the handball up, and they're away. Thornton gets it from Warnock. Bounces down the wing.
Melbourne player has to go to him.
Jones does. That leaves Shammer free. Ibbotson gets through Buckley. And now Pavlich or Farmer. Take your pick. Pavlich or do. Got a hand on it. Martin gets a kick away. Rolling ball, boundary line. Main cuts it off. Tucked into the line. Farmer. Kickable for Jeffrey. Oh, unselfish for Pavlich.
Oh, precious of the arse. How Main was just so free on that out of pocket. But good play. Didn't panic, size up, saw Jeffrey, got it over the top of him, and Jeffrey, well, you know that he's always going to do this. He looks to the top of the square, and that's the beauty about Jeffrey's game. He's so unselfish.
He's on it.
He can kick him, but he certainly brings other players into the game.
For goal number 4 for Matthew Pavlich. And to push the margin out to 28 points. Never in doubt.
Jack, one of the mysteries of this game is how Fremantle could have been so bad in that first quarter.
Well, it's an area that their club have to address, and it's something that's been spoken about loudly time after time. The difference between their best and worst is still too great, and we see what we've seen in the first quarter was near on pathetic, and now the second quarter, and now they're playing, you know, what we expected them. So it's an area they've got to address over the coming months.
2 goals in the second, 2 goals in the third for Matthew Pavlich. Jeff Farmer, who needs to play all 6 remaining games this year to notch up his 250th. And on current form today, with unselfish play like the last minute, he should do it. Notch up his 250th game, of course. Played with the Demons, 118 games and 259 goals for the team he's playing against today. No one able to get it out from the ball up. Mark Johnson had a try.
Well, Dean Bailey, I think, has got to make some moves. Nathan Jones hasn't had a sniff this quarter. His man Byron Shammer's near on best on ground at the present time. He's got to throw him round, push him up the forward line, give him a chop out, because it's just not working for him at the moment. And Melbourne are getting no drive whatsoever through the middle.
And that's the hard part. You don't know if Dean Bailey is experimenting, just giving players longer time than he normally would if this was round 1. If he was trying to grab a spot in the 8, Shammer was caught high again.
It's okay to experiment, but at the end of the day, you're getting belted on the scoreboard.
Main again, no one's manning him up.
Not working.
Oh, we'd all like to think that they give 110% to win. Main. But it's about the long-term success versus short-term success. It's an old debate, and it virtually cost Melbourne a draft pick last year. Whelan. Bruce. Wheatley. And kick smothered. McManus got a hand on it. Wheatley gets it back again. Bartram and Buckley collide. McManus to Main from 50. Farmer in position A. Hasn't got it. At all but.
He's trying his hardest, Jeffrey. He's just, it's not coming to him, but he'd have a fair argument here. I think there's been a free kick, bit of a hole. Just a fingertip.
Holding each other, perhaps. Valenti has looked good. Davey. That's the mark at half back. Dunn plays on, but didn't really know where he was going.
Inside 50, 6-16.
Bruce throws it out, but to McFarlane this quarter. Shammer playing the game of his life. Sweeping handball to Grover. No one to go too long, needs to hold it up. Shammer. That was an important possession. Big gather. Kick not good though. Bruce. Handball out to Valenti. And that kick not good. Thornton gobbles it up. Manus short. Back to Thornton, left it behind.
It's a dumb handball because he hadn't cleared his man. Even if he had hit the target, he still had to get past his direct opponent in Buckley.
Dunn to Johnson to Buckley. He needs to go back in the middle. Uses his pace. Martin. Miller. Johnson. Newton leads long. Gets the front spot, but Grover out-bodies him. Out-reads him, really. Thornton. I can sense they've got this one, Fremantle. Playing relaxed at the moment. Dodd. They're all firing. McManus. Johnson. Sandlands gets there, slides in, dropped it.
He's paid
and now it's 50.
He's paid the mark line.
No advantage.
That rule about grabbing after the mark's been relaxed today.
Obviously, you're allowed to grab them after the mark now. Well, then that's 50-50. Come on. No doubt the umpires will watch it during the week and make their decision as to whether that was right or wrong. Hopefully they'll turn the commentary down. Sandlands to line up 35. Maybe they should. And he kicks across a little, but sneaks it in, the big man. And they can smell it now, Fremantle.
Oh, just a comedy of errors. Melbourne's indecision would go through the middle of the ground. Unlike the first quarter, they were very clean, very precise, but nothing up forward, no work rate, and just forces error. Fremantle were able to pounce Michael Johnson running through the middle, looked his vision up, and on that occasion hit a target, found Aaron Sandilands who was pushing into the hole, and went back and sized it up. It was a good goal for the big ruckman.
That's the 4 possessions for Aaron Sandlin. Or have you changed the stats again, Jerry?
Yeah, just the third quarter. One, he's having a very good third quarter.
Right, okay. Just flicking back so I can see how many he's had in total. Give you an update.
Aaron Sandilands back in the middle.
There he goes for possession number 13. Sends it long. And McFarlane takes the mark. Well, this is a completely different Fremantle and a completely different Melbourne to that we saw in the opening term, when Melbourne dominated with a 5-goal-0 opening term and led by 29 points at quarter time.
Well, Fremantle played non-contested footy in the first quarter. They weren't running, they weren't working. Melbourne just were here to play, and they did it well. But since then, the spark plugs have been detached.
And McFarlane has been a bit of a jack of all trades and master of none through his career. He's been a good defender and a good forward. Never really had a chance to settle. And this is the shot. Wheatley, 28 minutes gone, third term.
I reckon he's been more than just a good defender at times, Brian. I think he's suffered because he's been in a side that's allowed a lot of balls to go over his head. But at full back, if he was in a gun side, top 2 or 3 side, I think he'd be a different player, or regarded as a different player.
Shouldn't have left Hawthorn?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I mean, he played in preliminary final footy a couple of years ago under Chris Connolly.
And that's the issue with a number of players. I mean, Clint Bartram was a Geelong Falcon. He was overlooked by Geelong in the draft. They didn't want him, but probably wouldn't get a game for Geelong right now. So come to a club where you can actually develop yourself in the seniors rather than chew up games in the reserves. And a guy like Cameron Bruce, who spent 2 years on Melbourne's rookie list and played 47 reserves games before playing a senior game for Melbourne, did his time learning the trade. Jones toward half forward, bait. Johnson. Morton, who started brilliantly.
Slow. Melbourne had success in the first quarter when they turned and ran and kicked it in instinctively. That's just bad football.
Grover. Mundy turns 23 years of age today. David Mundy is on track to celebrate. As Fremantle are on track to win this and play their way outside the wooden spoon zone. Tarrant unable to collect this one. They've got a good percentage, Fremantle, so a 3rd win today and essentially a percentage that makes it 4 wins. You wouldn't think they'd win the spoon if they can gather the 4 points here today. With both these teams still to play the West Coast Eagles before the end of the year.
The critical numbers for the sides down here, Dwayne.
Because if you win 4 games or less, you get a priority pick, or pick 17 after the first round. If you win more than 4, you miss out on that pick. Valetti. And he takes off through the midfield. Seconds tick. They need something, the Demons. He thumps it long. Sylvia had it, but not enough of it. Grover. Ibbotson to mop up the seconds. Rolls it out of the danger zone. Valetti a chance to pump it back. They continue to tick. Short. Sylvia.
Got Bruce forward.
Too far out to score. Jones. Shrugs Mark Johnson. Needs to get the kick away. Does in time. And it scores a behind. Unkind bounce for Nathan Jones, with a kind bounce for Fremantle and a kind crowd. Big round of applause for the Dockers. They've been magnificent since quarter time, and they lead at the last change 11-15-81 to Melbourne. 7-5-47. Melbourne came home to beat them.
Well, we've seen many times, Wayne, that anything is possible in sport. At the start of the British Open, the Shark was 500 to 1. At the moment, he's 4 to 1.
It's amazing what love can do. There's a whole lot of love in this room for Fremantle at the moment. Jamar to Wheatley. Jones showed it and now kicks it wide. Bruce, captaining the team today. Needs to inspire them in this final term. Thumps it long. Miller. And a rapid round one-on-one and a good fist by Michael Johnson. Miller did threaten to break the game open in the opening term. 2 goals to three-quarter time for Brad Miller. Bruce had it, lost it. Carr stole it back again. They're away. Warnock, Crowley, and got one too high against Morton. Crowley will take the free.
Well, if we continue the theory that Dean Bailey's just looking and experimenting and trying to find out a bit about his players, well, this next 30 minutes will tell him something.
Backwards to Tarrant,
because there's a few that have clocked off at quarter time. The work rate has just dropped right away.
Just a good contested possession by Matthew Pavlich. Took the market, turned inside, played on straight away. Could have blazed away, but did the team thing and saw Chris Tarrant leading in his path, and hopefully 4th time lucky for Chris Tarrant.
Yes, had an inaccurate day. 3 behinds. Nice off the boot. Big roll for Chris Tarrant. Well, it wasn't over before that kick. She's over now.
Well, this quarter's all about for Melbourne Football Club is to fight the game out and beat their direct opponents. We said Matthew Pavlich. Just some of the young players will look at the replay there. Once he takes that mark, still protect the man. I know you're not allowed to put your hands on, but you've still got to stay in the contest and don't allow him that freedom to play on so easily. So for Melbourne, we're going to continue to work.
Really interesting there looking at Matthew Pavlich's approach. He actually just wrapped up the bloke in front and prevented him from raising his arms. Have another look here. With his right arm, he just belts the arm down so Dunn can't raise his arms. Pretty smart play from Matthew Pavlich.
You're allowed to whack the arm if you take the mark yourself. And the ball up. Warnock without the car. Pavlich and Peak should go all the way. Sends the long drop punt straight through the middle. It's party time.
Really dominated after quarter time as they're sending clearances. Largely, in fact, they're throwing it around a little bit with the players, obviously with Warnock and Sandilands, but Ryan Crowley's had another nice day in the office. Shammer had a big second and third quarter. But on that occasion, just a bit too easy. Good to see Pete get on the end of one. He has been running through the lines a little bit without the reward, but he needs to continue his work rate, needs to continue to run like that, and his game will be finished off with more goals.
Fremantle doing their crosstown roll as a favour as well. The West Coast Eagles, the Demons, if this goes to plan, will still be bottom of the AFL ladder tonight. By percentage, the West Coast Eagles will remain off the bottom. And Fremantle won't win the wooden spoon this year. Third win and a good percentage. They might be safe. Buckley.
The wooden spoon's lost its woodenness, one.
Sorry, the golden spoon, I should say, Jared. Buckley slips the pass wide. Bait taps it to the boundary line, and it is a golden spoon now. You can get the #1 draft pick, and unfortunately for Melbourne, they lost that round. They won that round 22 game against Carlton last year, and that was their 5th win last year. And to get the #1 pick, the #1 priority pick, you have to have 2 bad seasons. Had they lost that game to Carlton last year in round 22, a poor season this year would see under the 2-season rule them get #1 pick in this year's draft.
Nice smother.
But they won't get it now because they won that game against Carlton last year. Kick towards half forward and the mark taken again. Long kick. And a good mark to Johnson.
I don't think anybody would doubt that the draft has been an outstanding success, but it just seems to have robbed one of the great aspects of AFL footy, and that is the wooden spoon, of its negativity, if you like.
McFarlane, kick around the body, finds the boundary line. Yeah, you're right, and that's the thing that Melbourne, unfortunately, will be robbed of because they happened to win that round 22 game last year. Back into play. Martin was a pre-season draft pick at the start of this year. Jones, and now Bruce.
Nathan Jones has been let off the hook. Byron Shammer has moved his close attentions to someone else.
Call to hurry up. Sends it along the line. Dunn and Head. And Dunn takes it out. The other issue of that round 22 game last year is that by losing it, Carlton essentially got themselves Cruiser and Judd. Had Melbourne have lost that game, then Melbourne would essentially got one of Cruiser, Cochin or Judd in last year's draft. But they won the game and had to settle for Carl Morton, who looks like being a good player anyway. They probably would have liked the opportunity to grab Judd. 93 plays 47.
Byron Shammer on the bench. He's had a pretty big afternoon, Smithy.
Yeah, he's just having a rest, Jared. He just hit the nail on the head before. He's had a good second and third quarter, and he's just ready to come back on soon.
Good fist. Warnock up the down. Tarrant dumps it on. Toe poke wide. Sylvia. Good pass as well from Johnson. Bruce released him to run. And Bruce is inside 50. Can peel back onto this. Been hunted down by Carr. Fortunate bounce for Carr. Wraps him up. He takes no prisoners, Josh Carr. In fact, he's got some form against a couple of these Demon players today. 1 week for a forceful contact. Chris Johnson last year. He's playing against it again today. Running with Nathan Carroll that cost him weeks a few years ago. Carr gets a dribbler and crunched in the process. We'll get another ball up. There he is. In fact, he's up there with the all-time leaders in guilty verdicts of the tribunal. Carl Dittrich and Glenn Archer and Greg Williams. An illustrious list. Johnson to Johnson. He wobbles it wide. Chris Johnson knocks it to Valenti. Good opportunity here for Aaron Davey. Pokes the pass. Miller. And that's been the tale since quarter time for Brad Miller. Not a lot to go to. Goes back to Buckley. He pokes it towards Jones. 52 from goal. Bate with 3 to beat. Thornton got a hand on it. Bate takes it towards the line. And that's a win for Fremantle. Michael Johnson. Warnock didn't know what happened then, but it was over his head, meant for Pavlich. And Carr, another possession. Back inboard. Ibbetson's been good today, as has Main again. Warnock with a little don't argue. Ibbetson. Wrapped up by Davey. Gone. Oh, pushing the back.
Just over possession of the footy a bit too much. They've started to lose their run a little bit as well.
Ibbetson told to play on. No one comes at him. Sends it to Crowley. And front stripe Sylvia takes the mark. Inboard. Buckley. And now Miller gets there and marks this one.
And all of a sudden the Dockers have just gone back into corralling mode. Jones to Bate. So you'd imagine it's only a matter of time before Melbourne get a goal on the board. It's been a laborious build-up.
Certainly has.
So Bate knows exactly where the mark is. It's the 50-metre arc. Uses every metre. Sends a big, long drop punt through. A consolation prize for the Demons.
Well, they're just going to continue their work rate. I mean, Fremantle you mentioned it, Jared, had gone back into a corralling role and forced a few errors. Obviously, a bit of the sting's gone out of the game, but Melbourne are just going to keep fighting this game out. I don't like the word used or the terminology, honourable loss, but it can turn out that way for them. But chance for Dean Bailey to throw a few players in a few unfamiliar positions and see how they go, what he can learn from his players.
Hello.
93 to 54.
It's okay.
Warnock and J-Mar on the ruck, and Warnock wins. High towards Sandlands. Little palm down, meant for McManus, missed him. Bruce, Jones, Buckley. And now Miller is free. He's got the short if he wants it. Sends it wide, Sylvia. Plays on quickly. Dumps it long, goal square. Bate gets back and marks. Chance for two within a minute.
It was smart play by Sylvia. Realised he had to get that ball into the top of the square. Wheeled around on his left foot after he took that mark. And it fell in the advantage of Matthew Bate. It's like a 70-30 advantage when that ball's coming over the top. Well, it's more, 80% advantage there. It's a good, smart kick by Sylvia. Chance for two in a row.
18th possession and hits the post. Crowd enjoying it at the moment. There's been afternoons and evenings here this year where they haven't enjoyed it all that much. Michael Johnson. Elected not to go to Pavlik, short to Shammer.
Interesting player, Matthew Bate. He's obviously got plenty of talent. Yet his best year probably so far is his first year. I think everybody in the footy world is watching him and just waiting, anticipating a breakout season. This one's not it.
Dog to Mundy, to McFarlane. He was like that as a junior as well, Jared. He missed the big Metro under 16 state team with an injury, then missed the Till Cup, didn't get selected because he wasn't considered good enough. And then he had one big breakout season. He won the Morrish medal for the best player in the under-18 competition. And that's the reason he was drafted, off the back of that. As McFarlane loads up. And some more cream on the cap.
Jared, just an area that Melbourne need to get better, and they'll do it over the summer in the gym. Some of their players are just getting pushed off the ball a little bit too easy, especially late in the game. Fatigue sets in, but Matthew Warnock here just said he got pushed off the ball too earlier in the contest there with McFarlane. And I've just noticed, particularly in the second half, a few of the Melbourne players lose possession, lose a bit of that physical battle, and that's an area where the younger players need to get better at.
So where do they play McFarlane next year, Gerard? We know he's a good forward. You believe he's a better backman, and yet they almost can't afford to play him back.
Well, a lot of that depends on what happens to Ryan Murphy, the development of him, Chris Tarrant.
Well, this will bring the house down, McManus, but he can't pick the bell, the local hero, behind.
And I think it's about horses for courses. I'm sure they saw Melbourne as having an inexperienced defence. Didn't work in the first quarter because the ball wasn't getting down there and they were exposed at the other end of the ground, but they stuck to their plan, their pre-match plan, and in the end, because the midfield pressure got better, he's got better.
Buckley wide to Newton, makes it impossible for him to mark it. And he lifts it over Farmer, keeps it alive, back to Buckley. And he gets another possession as a reward for his poor possession. Johnson and now J-Mar.
I think the point is valid still, though, that the sides at the top end of the ladder, very few of them are going towards having four tools in their forward line. They've got go-to players, but the rest essentially are hard-running midfielders that chase.
Newton had a reach for that. Shammer to Pavlich, bounces it to Crowley. It's the post. It's a luxury if you can play all your players in the position that's best for them. Johnson. Garland. Really made to earn that by Tarrant. It's been a good battle between those two. Newton makes the mark. Tucked up against the boundary line, Michael Newton. Started on the bench. Goal in the opening term. Relatively quiet since then. Bell sprints on. Thumps it to the goal square. Sylvia gets the fly. Good fist, Everton.
It's been there on BOG, Everton. A lot of blokes have had more footy, but dollar for dollar, I think he's been really beaten.
The beauty about this, I mean, he was in the wrong position as a defender, but he never took his eye, didn't panic, didn't take his eyes off the football. He knew he couldn't engage in his direct opponent, Sylvia, in obviously giving a free kick away, and got the double fist up. That was great defensive work by Gareth Ibbotson.
Thornton. Peak. Shrugs the tackle and hands to Carr. Did inspire them in that third term, Josh Carr. Little 1-2. Hand off to Dodd was good. And now the kick towards. Well, the crowd roared. Crowley gets it regardless. Bell tackles him. Hands back to Dodd, who's a little spent, so he leaves it for McFarlane, who misses Crowley with the handball. Bait. Buckley. Bruce. Wanamiri, who's had a quiet day at the office. And that tells the tale.
He's had a good day at the office.
Yeah, Shamo's almost played the game of the year for him. Mark Johnson. And he was looking for Main, cut off by Johnson. Byron Shamo, there's been rumours he might go home. Jacko, as you have a look at this.
Well, I guess with the way Fremantle's season's been, this name's been teared up as a trade. Has he got a future at Fremantle? Time will tell in their list management at the end of the year.
Farmer can't get the fly. Out of play.
But in saying that, if he can get his consistency in his game like he's shown today, and a couple of weeks ago against Essendon here, he was very good. He had a great one incident in the last quarter where he showed great courage. Continue to do that, well, we've got to keep him.
McManus down to Crowley, to McFarlane, who misses home for Shammer, of course, being South Australia, is from the Murray, from Loxton, from Tony Modra country. Modra, Linda, Brucey Linda was up that way. Mark Rashudo, of course, from the Riverland. There's been some good ones come from there. Short pass to Wanamiri.
Thanks, Josh. Yours.
Three players in the middle. Clint Bartram, who won the NAB Rising Star nomination for his game against Peter Bell in 2006, a couple of years ago. And Peter Bell has been talked about this week, as well as a possible board member, Jacko.
There's a lot of happening in Perth, Dwayne, as far as possibilities, but
Not short of a whisper or a rumour over here at the moment.
that's what I'm getting at. But I think Peter Bell has clearly mentioned that he needs a break and just get away from footy for a while, look from the outside back in.
Wanamiri runs to 50, pops it up in hope that Sylvia can take the mark.
Good running.
Dodd did well. Shammer on fire. Pavlich all the way up to the wing. Handball inboard to Peake, who we know can run. Bartram tries to hunt him down. Pavlich, long thumb. Crowley again, and again can't bring it down. That's a throw, not paid. McFarlane goes regardless. I'll bring out the hundreds and thousands sandwiches shortly.
Well, it's good passenger play by Fremantle, but Josh had a great 50-50 contest in the last line of defence, and there's a few of his Fremantle teammates are actually going to reward him and pat him on the back because that's where it started. But poor throw there. Well, it was either free kick, but Luke McFarlane was there at the end to kick another goal.
Melbourne score at quarter time, Dwayne.
5-1.
Kicked 3 goals since.
3 goals, 5 for the afternoon for Luke McFarlane. And they're enjoying this performance now, the Fremantle crowd. Success is relative.
Dwayne, it's an interesting debate you asked about Luke McFarlane because whether he plays back or forward, yet on a day like today, he's had 8 shots on goal.
It's been an unsuccessful season for Fremantle, but we need to celebrate the successful afternoons because they're few and far between this year. Miller, Bartram, Wheatley, and a wide ball to Valenti, who showed plenty early, showed too much of it then to head, gave it off to Sylvia.
I reckon if he'd had his time again, he might have gone a bit harder with the tackle.
And Sylvia kicks it out of bound the full.
between corralling a player and letting him get round you.
Unless, of course, you know he's going to kick it out on the full and he's on his incorrect side.
2 steps ahead.
Todd. About the ticket of time on final term. Melbourne will remain bottom of the AFL ladder. And it's now a race in 2 for the wooden spoon, you'd think, between Melbourne and the West Coast Eagles, who are still to play each other this year. They'll play each other in a few weeks' time. Pavlich. Nice grab.
Well, he couldn't have had a worse first quarter, and he's been outstanding since.
He's got 4. Needs 6 to equal his best ever against Melbourne. It was at the MCG last year. Kicked 6 and 3 against them last year. 5 against Melbourne earlier this year. That's what he has ahead of him. That's a gem. Goal umpire did not move.
He's had 5 clearances as well, Matthew Pavlich. So has Aaron Sandlands and Crowley, and Aaron Davies had 5 clearances for the Demons. But it's been an all-round game from Matthew Pavlich. He's played a lot through the middle of the ground, and he's been able to do that because they've elected to play the big fella McFarlane at full forward, which has given them the structure they want.
Virtually a 100-point turnaround in this game. They led by 34 points, Melbourne. It's been all Fremantle since then. Farmer can't get the kick away. Wanameri huts him down. Farmer continues to pursue it, gets away with it. Bouncing ball, and Ibbotson does as he's done all day. Just collects and goes. Farmer short. Crowley attacked it.
Geez, he did that well. Get the ball in him.
Garland attacked him, and Garland lucky to get out of it with a handball to Wheatley.
The beauty about it,
Danger.
oncoming traffic, Jared, and he's prepared to absorb the contact but still win possession of the football.
Bartram to Valenti. Newton to the midfield. Johnson and Wanameri there. Farmer allowed to grab him. Johnson sweeps the handball wide to Carl Morton. Open forward line, one-on-one's ahead of him. Just needs to pick one. Sends it long towards Davey and Miller. And back to the pack. Grover read that well, although the handle wasn't as good. Miller, Davey can get himself a consolation prize.
Smart
Bruce waits under it and a little juggle. Hands off to Bate, who goes. Wallpaper over the cracks for Melbourne.
Well, just persisted there, and Davey, who started the game lightning, got some early touches and that pace, but that's severely been lacking in the second half. But on that occasion, showed his instinct football by winning that, getting to the top of the square, and Bruce took the mark.
Two goals for Bate. 2 goals in the final term. 114 to 62. And a tackle by Farmer on Johnson. Fremantle to play Port Adelaide at Amy Stadium next week. Port Adelaide with a win in the showdown today by 2 goals over Adelaide. And the Demons to play the Kangaroos at the MCG next weekend.
Since quarter time, Melbourne's gone inside their forward 50 just 25 times, and Port Adelaide have gone in 51 times.
Melbourne.
Fremantle, I should say, yeah.
Sylvia to half. Nice. Michael Johnson.
Bit of MJ there.
Is that the nickname, is it?
That's the nickname.
As in Michael Jordan. That was, certainly. A little bit of MJ. Ibbotson. Pops it up. McFarlane. Pavlich is on the move in his direction. Used the body. Unsuccessful though. Valenti about to hunt this down. Free kick will come back.
Push in the back.
But the crowd All 31,638 of them just waiting for their moment to roar.
Well, Matthew Pavlich did really well there. He pushed up and he blocked the player. It was a mongrel kick and he expected Chris Tarrant to be leading up behind him. He turned around and he wasn't there.
Forgive Main that fumble because he has worked hard today into three-quarter time. It worked so hard it's virtually spent. Valenti, a little too clever. Shammer to Manus. Rolls it inside 50 to Chris Johnson. And now Wanameri who can run. Hasn't had an opportunity to do that today. Relatively fresh legs. Sylvia. Klein bounce. Newton calls for it long. In his direction, and he's got it. Just the 8 possessions and the 1 goal for the evening for Michael Newton.
And the Dockers have got the wave going. Been a while.
Yes. It's almost nice to see the wave back as Newton kicks the goal. His second. And there is Dean Bailey, who's still got a lot of work to do with this list.
So, if the West Coast did get the first pick in the draft, Jacko, who would they take, which would leave Melbourne with the second pick?
Rumour that I heard.
Just have to think about it for a sec. So if West Coast went first, Jacko, who would they take?
Sources are telling me Rich. They need to replenish the midfield again.
Daniel Rich?
Yeah, Daniel Rich.
Jones, Bartram, Sylvia, and Davey.
Did well, Mark Johnson.
Mark Johnson wraps him up. That was the old Mark Johnson there.
He's kept Davey scoreless today. It's given his great pace. He's had plenty of possessions up the ground here in Davey, but he's done a good job for his coach.
That's almost the copybook. Watch the hips tackle. Don't be fooled by the swift movement. Whelan actually took it out. Umpire said no. Valenti to Dunn. Screws it around with the outside of the foot. Bait. Kept his feet. Dunn, boundary line, the sanctuary for both. Back into play, Pavlich, who has inspired them to this victory again. And having another great season, Matthew Pavlich, 59 goals for the year now for Pavlich. Best ever the club record, 72. So there's a chance to beat his best ever the club record this year. Peak. Go all the way. Handballs it through Pavlich. Done. Might as well rush it behind here. Garland. Crowd still roaring. Valenti. Wilson.
Well, that's confidence.
Outstanding. He's got to be a contender for the NAB Rising Star Award.
He's a top 5 or 6, you'd reckon.
Well, he's almost overtaken Reece Palmer. I know Reece was rested today, but Ibbetson's he's had a very good month and a very good year. Buckley. Jones. He did get a nomination. Garrick Ibbetson has 21 possessions against Carlton.
That was a loss for this club. Anthony Grover.
That was a loss. This has been more spectacular, perhaps, because it's been inspiring in a victory. And we'll get a ball up.
Yeah, you're right, Jared. It has been a war loss. Like he continually fights out of his playing weight, some of the jobs that he gets, but just does his job and works at it. Keeps it pretty simple. That's what you want from your defenders.
Mark Harvey, you saw on screen, a calm Mark Harvey. This will take some pressure off. Bruce. Hand over the top.
Chase Johnson. Great chase, Johnson.
Johnson chased him down. Bruce